What happens to a life when the noise fades? When the stadiums are empty? When applause no longer dictates direction? For Hernán Crespo, this phase is neither a downfall nor a retreat. It's a conscious decision. Back to Argentina, away from pressure, expectations, and endless comparisons. His days are calm, clearly structured, carried by a serenity he had to work hard to achieve. But how does a striker who shaped European football find peace away from the spotlight? And what remains of a career when success no longer sets the pace? That's exactly where this story begins. Hernán Crespo was born in Florida, Buenos Aires, in 1975. Not a place of glamour, but an environment where everyday life meant work, and consistency mattered more than dreams. In his family, effort was nothing special. It was just part of life. That's where his view on football was formed. The game came early, but not as a promise of fame. It was a path that demanded order, repetition, patience. Crespo quickly learned that talent alone wasn't enough. What set him apart was his calm. On the field, he didn't seek attention. He waited. He observed. He moved only when the moment was right. His style was quiet but clear. Few touches, precise runs, a knack for spaces others overlooked. While others fought, he thought. While others pushed, he remained controlled. In these early years, a striker emerged who prioritized efficiency over spectacle. Without haste, an attitude grew that would carry him through his entire career. The move to Europe wasn't a dream, but a break. Italy didn't welcome Hernán Crespo with romance, but with strictness. Football was tougher, more precise, relentless. Every mistake remained visible. Every missed chance had consequences. Here he learned that goals weren't feats of art, but obligations. Crespo was rarely at the center of the show, but almost always at the center of the decision. He had to perform even when the pressure was constant. Applause came and went, expectations remained. In this environment, he refined what made him unique, waiting for the right moment, not faster than others, but thinking earlier. With stints in England and France, the pace changed again. Games became denser, breaks shorter. His body began to show limits. Injuries occurred, roles shifted faster than before. It was the second turning point of his career. Instead of fighting against time, Crespo chose adaptation. He changed his game, accepted new tasks, and refrained from comparing himself to earlier versions. This decision kept him in the game, not through loudness, but through consistency, not through memories, but through control over the moment that mattered. In his final years on the field, Hernán Crespo no longer fought against the moment. He accepted it. The hectic pace disappeared, perception sharpened. Every effort seemed deliberate, every movement carried by experience instead of urgency. His career didn't end abruptly, it closed calmly. With shared titles, with respect in the locker room, and without a blemish on the image he left behind. The transition to coaching followed without a break. It wasn't an escape from the end, but a continuation of the same attitude. Crespo transferred his principles directly to his new role. Patience over haste, structure over instinct, decisions meant to last. As a coach, he didn't seek the stage. He built processes, read games, guided without fanfare. Success wasn't demanded, but prepared. Thus, a new chapter emerged, one that didn't live off the past, but was fueled by it. With this clarity, his center of life also changed. Football remained, but the rhythm became different. And that's exactly where the space he has consciously created for himself today begins. In Argentina, Hernán Crespo's life settles into a different rhythm. There, where the city's noise slowly seeps away between trees and quiet streets, his house stands without any announcement, no symbol, no statement, just space, light, silence. The surroundings open up, green dominates, daily life loses speed. This house isn't built to be seen, it's designed to provide support. Large windows let daylight calmly wander through the rooms, connecting inside and outside seamlessly. The living area opens to the garden as if there were no boundary between retreat and life. Everything feels fluid, without rigid separation, without staging. In this atmosphere, Crespo appears less as a former football icon and more as a father. Barefoot, passing by, in shared silence with his children. The dining area invites lingering, long conversations where time doesn't matter. Nothing pushes, nothing distracts. The study changes the mood. Wood, subdued light, a room that absorbs sounds and organizes thoughts. Here, the reflective side of a man who has learned to make decisions not from noise, but from structure, becomes apparent. The kitchen forms the heart of the house. Open, functional, directly connected to the garden. Everyday life unfolds here. Short conversations, simple routines, movement without friction. Every room knows its purpose. And that's precisely why this house functions not as a memory of what was, but as a foundation for what is. Crespo's attitude is also reflected in his vehicles. The Audi Q7 stands for stability and practicality, an SUV without the urge for self-display, built for family, long journeys, and reliability. With an estimated current value of around $70,000, it fits a life that seeks comfort, not attention. Crespo drives it with the same calm with which he views football today, from a distance, without haste. Next to it stands the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, quiet, controlled, understated, a vehicle for formal appointments, for moments when time is measured differently. With an approximate value of $100,000, it speaks not of speed, but of control. In this small collection, there is no excess. Each car fulfills a purpose. Movement remains part of his life, but it no longer demands to be the center. It accompanies rather than dominates. Over more than 2 decades, Hernán Crespo built his financial stability step by step. His estimated net worth today is around $38 million. Not through single outliers, but through consistent income and thoughtful decisions. In his best years as a player, especially during stints at Parma, Inter, Milan, and Chelsea, his annual earnings range between $2 and $4 million, including bonuses. This regularity allowed him to build capital without taking risks. Sponsorship deals played a minor role. They remained selective and accounted for less than $500,000 per year during peak times. Crespo consciously opted for restraint instead of maximum visibility. After his career ended, the financial focus shifted to coaching. Here too, his contracts were in the range of $1 to $2 million annually. However, the crucial aspect remained how he handled money. No speculative investments, no risky maneuvers. His assets are distributed across liquidity, real estate, and stable investments. For Crespo, financial control is not a means of expansion, but of freedom. Today, he chooses projects not out of pressure, but out of conviction. His social engagement also follows the same quiet logic. For Hernán Crespo, helping is not a separate chapter, but an extension of how he has always acted. Without announcements, without campaigns, over the years he supported youth football in Argentina with around $350,000. Not to make structures shine, but to keep them functional. Pitches, equipment, training, where football is still a tool for participation. In addition, benefit matches in Argentina and Italy raised approximately $50,000 for aid funds for children and families in difficult circumstances. Education also plays a central role. With investments of around $200,000, Crespo promoted programs that combine sports and academic development. Talent alone should not determine the future. During his time in Italy, he also supported local social projects with about $10,000, particularly for the integration of children from migrant families. In times of crisis, he reacted directly with further contributions of similar amounts. This help does not seek attention. It works quietly, but permanently. That is precisely its consequence. In Hernán Crespo's life today, football remains present, but no longer as the central focus. After the end of his active career, he consciously decided to stay close to the game without fully submitting to it. The coaching role was not a transition out of habit, but a choice that matched his own pace. Away from professional daily life, family is at the center. Whenever his schedule allows, he travels with them, sharing time between close and extended family circles. In these moments, football loses its urgency and becomes one topic among many. No compulsion, no lingering echo. His approach to his own body has also changed. Crespo regularly plays tennis with friends, about an hour a day, not as training but as a balance. Movement without pressure, concentration without expectation. This creates a daily life that remains active but doesn't demand. A life that doesn't live off the past, but off the balance in the present. Hernán Crespo's life today is not a retrospective, but a conscious continuation. Success no longer defines him. He puts it in perspective. Calm replaces haste. Clarity replaces noise. Perhaps that is precisely the greatest achievement after his career. If you're interested in how big names shape their lives beyond the spotlight, then support us with a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more stories off the field.